Good afternoon. I'm Alfredo Braunstein. I'm the coordinator for the Master of Physics of Complex Systems, Fisica dei Sistemi Complessi. I will do this presentation in English today. There will be an Italian version tomorrow morning at 9:30. So let's start. What is this master? This is Laurea Magistrale. It's in the class LM44 of the Italian system. The name of the class is Modellistica Matematico-Fisica per l'ingegneria. So it means mathematical physics modellistic for engineering. It's a master that was designed with research in mind. So it was designed by a group of researchers, mainly on the topics they were interested and in which they were experts on. And the topic is the study of complex systems. What are complex systems? In just a few words, these are interacting systems with many degrees of freedom and with correlations. So what is, to explain better what is physics of complex systems, let me give you some examples. One important example is modeling and simulations of simulation of biomolecules, proteins, DNA, and RNA, and their interactions. Quantum effects from complex dynamics in novel materials, inference in complex systems. So the topic of inference, say probabilistic inference, is also something which is very recurrent in the course, in particular applied to social dynamics, epidemics, biology, and protein structure. So I've highlighted epidemics here, of course, because this is something that is very recurrent in these days. Let me explain you, for instance, in which sense this is related to complex systems. So in a short time, we will exit the lockdown, and people will be able to exit the homes and essentially go outside free. And this will happen with some control. So we will need to be ready to contain any outbreak that starts. And to do this, we will probably, and because nothing about all this is completely sure, we will use this app on phones that contact other phones via Bluetooth, and this gives a lot of data about their social interactions. And the idea now is to pose the problem of trying to assess what's the risk of a person to be infected, using the information from the interactions and using the information from the tests that have been performed on people in hospitals. So this gives a system with millions of interacting elements, which are people here, which is very hard to predict and very hard to analyze. And this is the kind of topics that interest the study of physics of complex systems. Then there is the topic of developing efficient algorithms for hard combinatorial optimization problems. Then topics related to the analysis of data, machine learning, neural networks, which are also a very hot topic these days. So who can apply to this master? This is targeted to essentially to bachelors in physics or physics engineering, mathematics, and math engineering. So this is the central target. Then also it's open also to engineering in the information area, and also related disciplines. So if your curriculum is not really physics or math, you can still apply, and we will evaluate your application. There are some hard constraints on the number of credits you have on the different areas, and this will be evaluated by our secretariat. So let me see. So first thing, let's clear up the air. There's no, sorry. I'm just jumped over one slide, 2 slides. Sorry. Okay. So first of all, say the master is divided into 2 tracks, which are essentially didactically equivalent. Tracks in the Italian system is called percorsi, in the Politecnico's say jargon. So there's an international track, which is the say most historic track of PCS, because it has more than 10 years now, which is fully taught in English and leads to a double diploma, an Italian Laurea Magistrale and a French M2. In France, the Laurea Magistrale is separated into two years. It's M1 and M2. You get a diploma for the second year, so M2. It is limited to 20 students per year, and this is essentially is a limitation which is due both to the fact that there is mobility, and for mobility we need to have funding to support mobility, and also because of limitation of our partners. So our partners prefer to maintain the this track to a limited number of students. And also there is we have the national track, so all Italian track, and this is fairly new. It has 2 years now, so first students will graduate this summer. It's almost fully taught in English. All mandatory courses are taught in English except one, and leads to a Laurea Magistrale degree, and it has no limits on the number of students. So first year we had, I think, something like 27 students, and last year we have more than 40, something like 45 or 50 students. Okay, so I put this slide here because this probably is something that is in the minds of many. Why I talk about an international program in the middle of pandemics? So this is a fair question. This is things are changing very fast in these days, and say for instance in the last week we received some important information about mobility. So so we need to stay say updated, and things may change from today. So don't take everything I'm saying with as written in stone. But for the moment, all partners agreed, at least informally, to guarantee continuity of the program, even in the event of say complete lockdowns and so on, including remote teaching if the physical mobility is impossible. So even in the case in which the physical mobility is impossible, students in the international track will follow courses in France in remote. In France and in Trieste, the two say outside places in the track. So in any case, Politecnico di Torino guarantees remote teaching in any circumstance, the teaching will be guaranteed. So even if there is something terrible happening, and I don't know, the international program cannot continue, at say the very last, we still have the say teaching done here in Turin. But I'm pretty sure that the program will continue, and at least remote teaching in France will be guaranteed. So we hope to have more news about this shortly. And just try to follow Politecnico's portal. There is also a fact on the mobility and teaching in general related to COVID in the Politecnico's portal. Okay, so let's go to a brief description of the program, starting with the international track. There is so the application that is most important information now. The application is closing this Sunday at 2 o'clock. So so now it's open and it's closing in just a few days. So please be aware of this. The application is fully online, of course. So the prerequisites of candidates is to have at least 100 credits acquired before 15 May this year. Well, there are other, depending on how much time did you take to get your bachelor, or how much time you say how long ago you started your bachelor. There are some constraints, but they are kind of very lax. The selection, on the other hand, is so we have this selection because the limit is 20 students. Normally, we have many more candidates, typically something like between 50, 60, or 70. The selection is based on two things. One is curriculum, so the average of exams on the bachelor, and an oral interview. So exams, of course, the exams that have been done. So of course, students that did not yet graduate can also apply, of course, and the average is done until a certain date. So all exams up to a certain date. So we are all on the same basis. The interview, so there is a weight for the average, which is 60%, and then the oral interview, which weights only 40%. These are the interview dates, 17, 18, and 19 June. As soon as the application, the call for the application is closed, we will send information to the candidates, say more detailed information about the interview. So exactly how this will be performed. Okay. So the international track is, it's a double degree program, but it's also a partnership between different institutes. There is, besides Politecnico di Torino, there are two institutes in Trieste, which are SISA, which is a renowned PhD school, and ICTP, which is an international center for theoretical physics. It's depending on UNESCO, so it's a very big theoretical physics institute. And then in Paris, we have three universities, which are among the largest ones in Paris: Sorbonne, Paris Diderot, and Paris-Saclay, Paris-Sud, which is a conglomerate. Okay. Just okay. Just as just in one picture, what's the timeline of students following this course? So, say on the horizontal axis, you have a time. So first, second, third, and fourth semester. So the first choice you have to do is either international or national track. So the violet colors are international track. And then, international students go to Trieste for the first semester, probably, but it is of course not sure yet. They will this year they will follow remotely teaching. This is actually not true because, even if there was some information given, official information about mobility by Politecnico, special programs like this have to be dealt with separately, and this is still ongoing. So, well, of course, national track students follow the first semester here in Turin. Second semester is joint, so all students now in this semester are together. Say, in a normal year, are together in a classroom. Today, this year are all at home, but they are following the same courses. Then the third semester is where peak of mobility happens. So international students go all to Paris. National students have the possibility to choose to do a semester in Erasmus. So we have 3 Erasmus destinations. One is Paris. 2 of the universities here, Sorbonne Université and Paris Sud. And students there can choose to follow exactly the same PCS semester than the international students. So this, I think, it's very good because it's something which was it's a well-tested semester. The teaching is very good. We know already students are normally very satisfied. So this is something that we advise if you choose to go to Paris and you are a national student going to Paris, try to follow the same courses as the international students. When I send the same courses, there are also optional courses, so there is some choices there. But of course, they have more freedom because Erasmus program is very lax. So in principle, you can choose almost any course on the university of destination. Then, of course, the majority of the students stay here in Turin, and then there are 2 or more destinations, Leuven and Zaragoza. In total, there are 10 Erasmus destinations. So there are 5 in Paris, 3 at Leuven, and 2 at Zaragoza. And then the last semester, of course, is a thesis semester or internship semester, and this, as per rules of Politecnico, you can do it this semester. You can do it here, or you can do it abroad. And there are also scholarships to say mobility scholarship to do this abroad. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the program. So I'm just putting these slides about the program, not to look at the particular details of what the courses are, but to show you that the spirit of the course is the same in the 2 tracks, even if the details could be different. But you will find that, that central topics are treated in equivalent courses in both tracks. So you have, a first course in quantum mechanics, and then in international track also you have a course on probability and simulation and computation. Also, you have the same thing on the other side. And then the optional courses could be a bit different, but the spirit is the same. And also difficulty is the same. So we aim to have the 2 tracks have the same difficulty and same criterion of excellence. So the second semester is common to the 2 tracks. So both tracks follow here the second semester. My course in particular, the second one here, and well, there is this advanced experimental physics, which is a mandatory course for the international track, but it's an optional course for the national track. Then the third semester, you have more variety of topics and in both tracks. And maybe the national tracks is a bit more oriented to machine learning in the optional courses, but globally these two are more or less equivalent. In the fourth semester, so the thesis semester, the structure is a little bit different. National track students have a 30 credit thesis, which of course can be done possibly abroad. International students have a separation of a shorter thesis of 18 credits, and then 12 credits are dedicated to the spring college, which is a school. So 1 month intensive school, which is done in Trieste. So it's a place that the students normally know because they have been there in the first semester. So it's a nice place to go back, and also the topics there are very advanced, and this is very intensive. And they have the opportunity to interact with researchers, which are absolutely excellent because we choose the speakers there with great care. And so this is a good opportunity for the students to make contacts and try to look for PhDs and so on. So it's a good, it's a very strong point of our international track. So about financial support, for the international track, the first semester is supported by the mobility in Trieste, is supported by Politecnico di Torino. There is a scholarship of 400 euros a month. Second semester, all students are here. There is no mobility scholarship for no one. Third semester, there is international track students have essentially an Erasmus scholarship plus some complement. In total, they get from 500 to 800 euros a month. This depends on the income, family income. And the national track students that go to Erasmus in one of these 10 Erasmus scholarships receive the regular Erasmus scholarship. The fourth semester, there is a program from Politecnico di Torino called Tesi su Proposta. You can look at it on the Politecnico's webpage. That also gives you a scholarship based on the exact amount of months you spend abroad. All these scholarships can be accumulated with other scholarships. For instance, there are what I know of. For instance, Collegio Carlo Alberto, the Alta Scuola Politecnica. There is also some scholarships in Paris. So most of them are compatible, but of course you have to look at the precise rules of the scholarship. So what graduates in PCS do after the program? So the best for you would be to look at our web page. We have a dedicated web page for alumni in which we try to keep track of what they are doing after graduation. What you can see is that most of them continue with the PhD program. And this is, I put here a list. This is probably not really even updated, but it gives you an idea that all of these are excellent places to do a PhD. and in general, our graduates have no problem finding very good PhDs. And why is it that the most follow a PhD? I think it is because they get a passion for research, and this is what we try to do, to give them this passion for research. Of course, not all of them want to do say a PhD and follow academia, but most of them still, even if they go to a private company, and we have a few examples of students that go to private companies, typically they go to a research and development area, and typically in the ICT sector and consulting. But have a look at our this webpage, because you will find more information about what they are doing. Okay, so we are done with the presentation. You can write me at this address if you have more doubts, or you can also stay here from 5 to 6 and have a chat with other PCS professors, current PCS students, and also ex-PCS students. And so this today from 5 to 6, and tomorrow from 3 to 4. And also, I wanted to make a small promotion. There will be another orientation, day in this year, in say not many days. It's would be 9 June from 5:30 to 4, probably, because this is still to be confirmed. This is ICT Days 2020. Okay, so here we finished the presentation. I see a question from Federico. What are the main areas of research for PhD students after the PCS degree? Well, typically they choose to start to continue in interdisciplinary areas, but we have a really large variety of PhDs, and so the best thing for you would be to look at the web page, because it's too long to. So it's really this area of physics is one of the most interdisciplinary ones. So essentially, what you get here are the tools and the techniques to analyze a huge number of problems, and all of these problems are interesting. So it would be reductive to try to make a list of what are the areas. So there are students that prefer to go to, research in more, theoretical physics, and there are students that go to things that are more applied to biology or to social sciences, and so on. No problem. Antonella, yes. So to apply for the course, you need to have an English certificate. So typically, there is, I don't know if you are a student from Politecnico. If you are a student from Politecnico, the rules are a bit simplified, because Politecnico already has the certificates, if you already did it at Politecnico. But in general, you need to present a certificate either at the moment of the call, or at most before September. This year, the rules are a bit more lax, because due to the lockdown, students have had difficulties to do the exams. So you have to read what's written on the web page. I think that this year there is a bit more. The rules are less strict with regarding the certificate, or the final date in which you can present the certificate. Well, if there are no questions, we are so time is out. So I will, so if you have more questions, you can go to the chat. From in an hour, the chat will start, and you can chat with, it's interesting because you can chat also with students, and they can tell you what's their point of view about the program. Federico, it's so I spoke about this in the first slide, essentially. So it's actually it's neither. So it depends on if you follow the national track or the international track. If you follow the national track, what you get is Laurea Magistrale LM44, Modellistica Matematico-Fisica per l'ingegneria, which is, it is what it is. It's not an engineering degree. You don't get, say, professional habilitation from it. But it's a course that is very well accepted. Our course is very well accepted in Europe. People know us, so you will not have a problem then following anything related to physics after that, or related also to data science and this, say, broader area. If you follow the international track, on the other hand, you will get also this M2 degree, and that's a plain theoretical physics degree, French theoretical physics degree. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Okay, bye all.